Today I'm joined by two well-known fixtures in the sorcery community, SorceryCon founders David Cornwell and Alex West. Folks, thanks so much for coming on and talking with us.
Yeah, of course.
Real pleasure to be here.
So, Alex, we're quickly approaching November 1st. So for those who might be new to the world of sorcery or been living under a rock or rolling boulder, can you catch folks up to speed on, what is SorceryCon? And then what makes SorceryCon Las Vegas so special?
Yeah, so SorceryCon is a gathering of as many sorcerers as we can get. It looks like this one will have over 300 people at it. And we've tried to take a little bit of every part of sorcery. So we have obviously events where you can play constructed or sealed. We're going to have the new Arthurian Legend set and, so many boxes of product. Also, we'll have 4-player format, two-headed dragon, so some kind of multiplayer formats that people are loving. And then we're going to have 12 different artists, an altarist, Cold Foil Heroes is going to come and bend. And we've also given 5 or 6 tables to different community groups, so like the Ruby Courier. So essentially, everybody who's really passionate about sorcery, there's a thing to get excited about at SorceryCon. And then what's special about Vegas? Well, Vegas is very fun. And I don't know, David, is there anything else that's very special about Vegas?
Vegas is just like, it seems like it's such a great place for people to travel to. And it's holding it there instead of Seattle this time has, I think, enabled a lot more folks to come join us than we would have gotten, here in the cold, dark, and damp looking out the window.
Yeah.
I'm bundled up, so I'd be ready. But I'm super excited. Vegas, it sounds like it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Now, before we get into that further, actually, both of you were recently featured in Team Covenant's documentary on SorceryCon, right? The one you did not even a year ago. That was also in 2024. What was the experience like being, seeing yourself on that documentary that was revealed to the community earlier this week? And, what's been the community's reaction?
It's been absolutely great. Like the experience was out of this world. Like, Alex and I started this because we wanted to get together and play sorcery with as many people as we could trick into coming and hanging out with us. And like when Team Covenant said, "Hey, we want to fly out and we want to film a documentary about this," I was like, that doesn't happen. This is like, come on, we're just hanging out. What's there to film? But it was a really special experience, and I am deeply thankful that they've immortalized that memorable weekend in their documentary that everyone gets to share and everyone gets to look back on and really celebrate the energy from that con.
Is that are you is being in a documentary a typical day-to-day? Was that that's just a typical Tuesday for us? Alex, what was it like for you being in that documentary or seeing it?
Yeah. So it's been 30 years since I was in a documentary. So it was really lovely, actually. I loved, I was like, what did I say back then? And, do I agree with the things that I said? And, having the things I was saying kind of montaged over other people having experiences that were directly related to what I said, it was cool. I just really admired the craftsmanship of the documentary people. And honestly, my primary feeling was just joy, mostly watching the people playing, having a good time.
Yeah. And it's pretty crazy, right? I love that they titled it, what if 50 people showed up? And now here we are, on the other end of the year, and you're holding by far and away the largest community-run sorcery event in the world in Las Vegas. So, tip of the hat. And we're mixing in a bunch of other things here as well. David, there's a whole new set, right? We've released Arthurian Legends.
Oh God, is there?
Yeah. Do you see that? How do you see that maybe having an impact on the events at SorceryCon Vegas, having this new set versus maybe when you did SorceryCon the first time? Beta was new, but the cards were kind of known since alpha, right?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like there's there's a little gap between the release and SorceryCon. We wanted to give people like enough time to at least get their hands on some cards so that they can build their own constructed decks. But we're hoping that like going into this, it's a brand new meta with new, fresh ideas, new decks that I'm just hoping that somebody shows up with something completely crazy that I'd never even thought of and like just smashes it in the constructed event.
I was really on the first part. I'll bring something crazy, but
you're also going to have a lot of fun judging questions.
Yes.
And watching the chatter, and there are so many new things that are happening. It's entertaining to watch the judges like trying to figure it out.
That's part of the sorcery experience, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I mean seriously. Like I'm also on the judge team for the league Discord, and there's been just a lot of communication, a lot of look at like the sort of from a competitive perspective, like how these rulings should work. Things that don't matter for 99% of the games that are played, but every once in a while, this edge case is going to come up. And yeah, the team, the judge team is great. We've got like half of the judge team for the league is actually coming out for SorceryCon. We've got a bunch of other great community members who are very familiar with the rules, very familiar with judging. So we've got a full judge team for the event.
And, in addition to your constructed event, you'll have sealed events, draft events. I also noticed there were a few that really caught my eye that are community spun events, like Two-Headed Dragon. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and like what people can look forward to?
So, like the folks at Beast of the Bay got in contact with us. Like, I guess I kind of reached out to them first, and we just exchanged information. They were like, "Hey, do you want to try this format out?" I gave it a shot with some of our local game groups, and like I've fallen in love. This format is crazy. It is super fun. We were like, "Hey, do you guys want to like?" If you're going to come up to SorceryCon anyway, do you want to run an event while you're here? How about 2?
That's amazing. And now we're huge fans of all the stuff, the great work, obviously, with putting on events like you two in the community, but also we're huge fans at Eric's Curiosa of just like community events in general, like different game modes people make up. So, I've got one of those giant Two-Headed Dragon, double side, huge play mats. It's bigger than like my wingspan. A little bit heavy. If people don't have their own Two-Headed Dragon playmat, are they going to be able to participate in the events at SorceryCon Las Vegas?
Oh, absolutely. So the folks from Beast of the Bay, we're giving them a booth. So if you want to try out the Two-Headed Dragon format, not necessarily commit to a whole event, they'll be demoing it at their booth. They've said they'll have playmats available. So we'll everyone who wants to try it out should give it a shot.
Well, that sounds amazing. So it sounds like, a huge range of gameplay opportunities, but there's more, right? So this year's artist lineup looks incredible, right? You've got Alan Pollock, Liz Danforth, Jeff Menges, Brian Smith. I mean, there's literally, so many, I can't even name them off the top of my head here. How did you bring together such a fantastic group of artists, and what can attendees expect from artist appearances and signings?
Yeah, so we kind of tried to recruit a little bit of talent from kind of every single sphere of sorcery. So Mike Savati, who I hope I pronounced his name right, he has this giant Facebook group that is mostly like art enthusiasts, and they're running art auctions there all the time, and it's real clear that he has a close relationship with basically all the artists. And so we're like, what would be cool? What if we got as many artists at SorceryCon as we could? And they're like, oh, that's a lot of logistics. How do we do that? Like, let's look at Mike. I bet he could do that. Or like, Mike's going to come, do a bunch of extra work to make sorcery awesome. Mike is like, yeah, sign me up. So we brought him in, and he very thoughtfully was like, all right, which artists are kind of hard to get access to? Yeah, because there's some that kind of like do a regular circuit, but like who's in Europe and like we could get to come over here. Who's a recluse that we could get to come out. And then we're gonna have a kind of a whole row of the artists, and I believe most of them are going to be both like bringing prints and maybe even original works that they're selling, and then they'll also sign people's cards, and a lot of them will do like custom doodles on your cards, and and I think most of them are planning on being there Friday through Sunday, most of the hall hours, because they enjoy it, and also like selling those signatures is a big way to support them annually.
It's great for them to be able to be supported directly by the community as well. I've also heard from a little owl that Ed Beard Jr. Will be making an appearance and maybe doing some signings on Saturday as well.
That's correct. If you check out our schedule at SorceryCon.com/schedule, we've got a special appearance and signing with Ed Beard Jr. listed on Saturday. We also have what looks like a panel discussion with.
Well, it does. I think I recall something about Eric and the Eric's Curiosa team maybe doing some sort of panel that evening. I don't know what we won't say anything about that now, but who knows? It sounds like SorceryCon is going to be the place to be. So we'll just put it like that.
Absolutely.
And it's so awesome to be able to have that space there too. But really, one thing we've always really admired about SorceryCon is, really how community driven it is. Can you maybe talk a little bit about like how has the sorcery community influenced this event, right? From its first evolution back in February in Seattle to now in Las Vegas?
Yeah, sure. So one of the things, like, you may have seen in the documentary, the Team Covenant documentary, actually, that Alex mentioned, was like...
Does he do this all the time, Alex? Is he always like, oh, actually, it was me in the documentary?
You may remember.
You've earned that right, so...
Yeah. No, Alex mentioned that, it's weird that card games tend to have, big gatherings that are just like a competition and nothing else is happening there. So for SorceryCon, we wanted it to be much more of just a wide celebration of the game and all aspects of it. And we've got some great members of the community who are really into cosplay and are dressing up for the event. We've got a bunch of folks who are coming together to maybe plan a group self-same simulacrum party.
That's awesome.
Yep. Was it self-same? Oh, God. You might have to cut this because I think I got that wrong.
It's Adaptillusionist.
Adaptillusionist.
Oh, Adaptillusionist. Okay. There we go.
Okay. So, yeah.
Sorcery card revokes you. No.
I know.
That was mesmerism going on there.
But yeah, we've got a group from the community who's doing an Adaptillusionist like group cosplay costume idea, hanging out. We also we've got some folks, Mystic Moose, a community member who is very interested in cosplay.
Yes,
he's one of the folks who's got a booth. We are kind of just going to be setting up a cosplay corner of the convention where everyone who's interested in cosplay can come hang out, share ideas, share experiences, and other folks can come over and probably pose for pictures and
that's awesome.
Leave with some awesome memories.
I also have reason to believe that one or two of our streamers will also be cosplaying while streaming.
Fantastic. I've got to start the Whisper campaign for Eric to come in costume, I think, to blend in. We'll see what we can do.
Exactly.
Well, I know I'm personally super excited to be able to get out to this event. If people are coming out there for the first time, any advice for people that this is maybe their first convention experience or their first SorceryCon experience?
Don't try to do everything. Give yourself breaks. Make sure to eat. We've tried to make that easy for everyone. So on Saturday and Sunday at the convention, we actually have box lunches for everyone. So if you forget to walk away, at least you can go to the other side of the hall and grab a sandwich and a bottle of water and hopefully keep going.
Yeah. My advice would be be friendly and open to making friends. I've traveled to a lot of TCG based conventions, and taking time to sit with someone and help them build a deck, or just take a few minutes to get to know where they're from. I've had some amazing long-term friendships come out of being at this kind of con, and I think just coming with curiosity about other people always has great results.
It's funny the kind of friends you can make through a shared hobby like this, right, David and Alex?
We still haven't met in person.
So, I guess what are you most excited about personally? Like, is there one particular part that you're like, man, I can't wait for this moment or to jump in on this thing?
Well, David blew mine because I was going to be like, the moment where there's like 20 adept illusionists, that's my moment. So I'll run with my second string answer, which is I love when there are new sets and people are just brewing new decks. I've been on Sorcery League online just like a little bit, and what people are playing is like wild and creative. And I think that all of the constructed events are going to have, all of these just like brews. And I love seeing people's creativity, and I can't wait to just walk the tables and talk to people about what they're doing. And
yeah, it sounds like a cop out, but I genuinely can't wait to just see everyone there and see everyone's reaction to what we put together. The special playmats, the group of artists we've got lined up, just everything we're doing for the event. I can't wait to just see everyone and get some games in. And I'm going to be playing some Two-Headed Dragon for sure.
Excellent. I think what's really impressive to me is that going back and watching that documentary and kind of seeing like the who's, the sort of rogues gallery of awesome sorcery people that were at that event and then went out to other events and influenced people and then went out to other places. And then now it's like kind of all coming home. Like over this year, the journey from SorceryCon and the way the community has grown and taken a lot of the values that we put out there as a company, but then you really brought together and codified and made into reality in the real world with your event. To see all of that snowball, Arthurian Legends reference, to SorceryCon Las Vegas, that's what I'm maybe most excited about. You're talking about Mystic Moose and some of the people who are cosplaying at different events, and them finding their home here. Man, I can't wait just to see all that.
Yeah, there's been a lot of friendships made just over this game, and a lot of folks who live very far away, and I haven't seen since the last SorceryCon here in Seattle, and I can't wait to see them all again.
Well,
there's so much that's unexpected. At the last SorceryCon, there's one person who had made custom elements and mana trackers. They're like wood and gorgeous, and I got one and I cherish it. And I don't know all the people who are going to be there, but I'm so excited about discovering who are these people at the tables who have these things that they're so excited about that they're they want to sit at the con and talk to other sorcerers about them, and just juiced.
Well, we're 2 weeks out, so if people want to jump in, there's still time, but they got to act fast. Where can people go to get tickets? I guess, can they still get tickets? And then where should they go if they want to get tickets?
Tickets are still available. If you go to SorceryCon.com, there's links to our Eventbrite site. You can get tickets for the main event. And then there are a couple featured events that we're pre-selling tickets to. But there will also be a huge number of side events on the schedule page that David mentioned. There's going to be, on demand as well as scheduled events Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and they'll all be purchasable there through the Play Network.
Where the whole team is just jazzed to be able to get out there and be a small part of this great thing that you're pulling together and putting on. Before we wrap up here, is there anything you'd want to say to the sorcery community before we wrap up?
I mean, watching the documentary again, this community is an awesome community, and the only reason something like SorceryCon Vegas can happen is because of all of the awesome people who are going to come out and celebrate with us. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all there.
Yeah, I would say keep faith in the game and keep playing. I've been involved with Sorcery for over 2 years at this point, and I see this constant flux of people, panicking, at different times, and the reality is, I think this game is really special and really fun, and if you just keep playing it, whether you're doing it at home with friends, online, or coming to SorceryCon. I think if you love something and keep doing it, it will thrive. And I think both Sorcery and SorceryCon are examples of that.
That's beautiful. I agree. It's so interesting too when it's like, we're a small company. It's a new-ish game, I think is the technical term. And it's spread out worldwide, right? And so in your little pockets, some areas, there's big communities, some areas it's just reaching now. And, events like SorceryCon are such a great way to come together with people from all of those threads to kind of join in the celebration and, get a kind of a pulse check on like, how are people doing? What's going on? What are the decks they're building? Who are the cool people that you got to know? And people running cool events. And, thank you so much for all the time. I know from talking with you from last SorceryCon and then earlier in the year as you started to plan this event, there's so much work and logistics that go into something like this. And, to your credit, I think you've assembled like a crack squad to help you navigate these waters. But there's been a lot on your shoulders. And, thank you so much for being champions of the game, but not only champions, but also like exemplars in the community of the sorts of values and, attributes of sorcery that we want to have out there. So we're super excited to see you in person. We're going to have to get a game, maybe a two-headed dragon game.
There we go.
If you're not running around too busy. But, we're excited. Short time, folks. So make sure you head on over to SorceryCon.com. Grab those tickets. We look forward to joining the celebration with all of you there as fans as well. So thanks so much for coming.
Absolutely.
All right, folks. Till next time, best of luck contesting the realm.